All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a really critical shift that's happening in artificial intelligence. It's moving from this fascinating, almost academic experiment into a full-blown industrial-scale engine for business.
So let's just dive right into this quote, because honestly, it captures a massive transformation that's happening right now. The whole industry is shifting gears, right? We're moving away from asking what if, and we're starting to define how to. What we're really seeing is the construction of what you can only call a new AI factory.
Okay, so first things first. Every factory needs an assembly line. And in the world of AI, that means we need a totally new generation of developer tools. Tools that are sophisticated, reliable, and built for mass production, not just for one-off little projects. So GitHub's tackling this problem that, anyone who's ever used an AI coding assistant has felt. They call it vibe coding. It's where you give it a kind of vague description, and the AI spits out code that looks right, it feels right, but when you actually run it, it completely fails. So their new spec kit is basically like the blueprints for the factory. It forces you to be specific, turning the AI into a literal-minded programmer that needs clear instructions to build exactly what you want.
And what this does, this whole structured process, is it turns the AI into a truly reliable partner. You're moving from just defining the what and why, all the way down to implementing these small, easy-to-review changes. The result? A massive improvement in quality, and you spend way less time refactoring buggy code.
At the same time, you've got AWS automating the heavy machinery on the factory floor. So with SageMaker HyperPod, they've basically eliminated what used to be weeks of painful, complex setup for AI training. Now you can get this enterprise-grade AI infrastructure with a single click. It's really democratizing access to the kind of computing power that used to be only for the biggest companies in the world.
And then there's Docker, who are building quality control directly onto the assembly line. This is a huge shift. By integrating a tool called SonarQube, AI agents like Copilot get real-time feedback as they're writing the code. So instead of writing a bunch of code, then testing it, and then finding bugs, the AI gets told about security issues or bad patterns instantly, so it can fix them on the fly and hit that A rating before the code even gets checked in.
Now, the key piece of tech that makes all this possible is something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. And it's super important to get this. This is not just another API. MCP is what creates this reliable, safe bridge between the kind of unpredictable, creative planning of an AI and the strict rule-based systems that actually run a business. It's the key to letting an AI safely use real-world tools.
Okay, so you've got this super fast assembly line. But what good is it if the stuff coming off the line is unsafe, right? This brings us to securing the factory's supply chain and really building in the quality control and safety protocols that are absolutely necessary.
It's kind of funny. The very tools and frameworks that help us build faster and more powerful applications can, if we're not careful, open up a whole new can of worms when it comes to risk. The complexity just creates these new, often really subtle ways for things to go wrong. Let me give you a concrete example. Take Next.js, one of the most popular web frameworks out there. It had a couple of pretty scary vulnerabilities recently. One, an SSRF bug, meant an attacker could basically trick the server into making requests to internal protected systems. Another one, a cache poisoning bug, could leak sensitive images from one user to a totally different unauthorized user. Not good.
And this is a perfect illustration of why having a managed factory floor is such a game changer. So, for anyone hosting their app on Vercel's platform, built-in security protections just handled it. They were protected before they even knew there was a problem, but anyone hosting it themselves, they were left totally exposed until they could get around to patching it manually.
This whole thing really points to a much bigger shift in the industry, moving from reactive to proactive security. The new partnership between AWS and Datadog is a great example. They're providing real-time monitoring for AI systems. So this isn't about cleaning up after a mess, it's about detecting risks, like data poisoning, where someone could corrupt your models before they can do any damage.
And finally, safety isn't just about code. It extends all the way to the people actually using these tools. OpenAI is rolling out a major safety push that's focused on mental health support and really solid parental controls. It's a recognition that for teenagers, the first generation of true AI natives, these tools are a fundamental part of their world, and they need a whole new level of thoughtful oversight.
All right, so the factory is built, it's secure. Now we're seeing this new kind of worker show up, the AI agent. And these aren't just tools. They're more like the autonomous robotic arms of the digital assembly line. So what even is an AI agent? What makes it different from, say, a chatbot or just a simple tool? This is a really important distinction because it's completely redefining what we mean by automation.
Zapier has a great way of putting it. Think of an agent as an intelligent teammate. Traditional automation is like a script. It just follows a fixed set of rules no matter what. An agent, though, it can actually reason through a problem, make its own decisions, and carry out a complex plan to get to a goal. It's a huge leap forward.
So this is basically how an advanced agent thinks. It's not just searching for stuff. It analyzes what you want, figures out the best tool for the job, whether that's a database or an API, and puts together an answer. But then, and this is the amazing part, a totally separate answer critic agent checks that answer for accuracy before you ever see it. That's AI with its own quality control built right in.
And look, this isn't some far-off futuristic idea. This is happening right now. GitHub is turning Copilot into an agent that can handle complex stuff like triaging issues all on its own. And Zapier is letting its millions of users literally just drop these autonomous agents right into their business workflows, connecting them to thousands of different apps.
So, let's recap. The AI factory is built. It's secure, and it's staffed with this new autonomous workforce. So the big question is, what are the actual products coming off this incredible assembly line? I want to start with just one number, 40%. That is the insane productivity boost that the cybersecurity firm Proofpoint saw after they rolled out Amazon Q Business to their team. But the real story is how they did it. This wasn't about just plugging in some generic chatbot. No, they built over 30 custom, purpose-built AI apps that connected directly to their core business data in places like SharePoint and Redshift. These apps automated really specific tasks, from writing follow-up emails to analyzing customer data. The impact was huge. They saved over 18,000 hours a year, which gave every single consultant back 12 hours a week. Maybe the most sophisticated product to come out of this AI factory is something like this, an AI-driven adaptive compliance framework. I know, it's a mouthful, but what it means is you're flipping compliance from this boring manual checklist that you do after the fact into a proactive, intelligent system that's always watching for regulatory changes and adjusting things on the fly. And the system is even smart enough to know when it's out of its depth. Check out this one little line of code from a compliance framework. It's designed to flag any decision where the AI's confidence score is low and automatically kick it over to a human for review. I mean, that's the perfect sweet spot. Automate 95% of the routine work, but bring in an expert for those critical edge cases. So, the AI factory is officially here. It's producing incredible results at a scale we've just never seen before. But as we step into this new industrial era of AI, it leaves all of us with a really critical question to think about.